My mind was a dark forest, and I was lost in the shadows, the journey through the darkness. They said, "You're imagining things," but the fear was as real as my heartbeat, the shocking truth about fear. I learned that healing is a journey, not a destination, the essential truth about healing. My heart was a shattered vase, and I was trying to piece it back together, the struggle to rebuild. They told me to just snap out of it, but depression isn't a light switch. The reality of depression they don't see. I learned that self-compassion is the greatest act of bravery, the power of compassion you need to know. My mind was a haunted house, filled with the ghosts of my past, the terrifying reality of past trauma. They said, "You're too negative," but I was just being honest about my pain, the honesty they couldn't handle. I learned that hope isn't a feeling, it's a choice, the empowering truth about hope. My soul was a tangled knot, and I was trying to unravel it, the struggle to find clarity. They told me to get a grip, but I was slipping through my own fingers, the reality of losing control. I learned that inner peace isn't found, it's created, the key to creating your peace. My mind was a broken record, and I was stuck in a loop of despair, the cycle of despair you need to break. They said, "You'll be fine," but I was dying inside, the truth about hidden suffering. I learned that vulnerability is not weakness, it is the rawest form of courage, the secret they tried to keep from you. My soul felt like a forgotten melody, lost in the noise of the world. Rediscover your inner harmony. They told me to just think positive, but my mind was a storm of negative thoughts, the real battle within. I learned that self-forgiveness is the key to unlocking your potential, the liberation you deserve. My heart was a barren landscape, yearning for a drop of kindness. Find the oasis within. They said, "You're exaggerating," but the weight of my emotions was crushing me, the burden of unseen pain. I learned that true strength is found in embracing your fragility, the power of being human. My mind was a tangled web, and I was caught in its intricate threads. Unravel the complexities of your mind. They told me, "You need to toughen up," but I was already fighting a silent war, the untold story of inner strength. I learned that empathy is the bridge that connects us all, the human connection you need to experience. My soul felt like a broken compass, spinning without direction. Find your true north. They said, "You're too emotional," but my feelings were a symphony of my existence, the beauty of raw emotion. I learned that self-reflection is the mirror to your soul, The journey to self-discovery. My heart was a locked diary, filled with unspoken words. Unlock the secrets within. They told me to stop dwelling on the past, but my past was a ghost that haunted me, the echoes of yesterday. I learned that acceptance is not resignation, it's liberation, the path to inner freedom. My mind was a chaotic library, filled with unsorted thoughts. Organize the chaos within. They said, "You're making a mountain out of a molehill," but my pain felt like an insurmountable peak, the weight of perceived insignificance. I learned that resilience is built through vulnerability, not avoidance, the strength in opening up. My soul felt like a faded photograph, longing for vibrant colors. Rediscover your inner vibrancy. They told me to move on and forget, but some memories etch themselves into your soul, the indelible marks of the past. I learned that self-awareness is the first step to transformation, the journey to becoming your true self. My heart was a fragile glass, easily shattered by harsh words. Protect your inner peace. They said, "You're just being dramatic," but my fears were as real as the shadows they cast, the reality of perceived threats. I learned that self-compassion is the balm that heals wounded hearts, the healing power of kindness to yourself. My mind was a labyrinth of doubts, leading to dead ends. Find your way through the maze. They told me to stop feeling sorry for yourself, but my sorrow was a river I couldn't dam, the overwhelming flood of grief. I learned that self-validation is the compass that guides your journey, the importance of inner approval. My soul felt like a silent scream, unheard by the world, the unheard cries of the heart. They said, "You're just seeking attention," but I was reaching out for a lifeline, the silent plea for connection. I learned that self-empowerment is reclaiming your narrative, the power of owning your story. My heart was a garden overgrown with weeds of regret. Cultivate the flowers of forgiveness. They told me to just get over it, but trauma leaves scars that don't fade, the lasting impact of pain. They told me to let it go, but the ghost of yesterday still whispers in my ear, "You're not alone in this haunting." The smile was a lie, the tears were real, and the silence, that was the loudest scream of all. My mind is a battlefield, and the enemy is every thought I've ever had. You won't believe what's happening inside. They said I was too sensitive, but they never saw the storms raging inside. This will change how you see emotions. I tried to build walls, but my feelings found cracks and flooded everything. Prepare for the truth they don't want you to know. The weight of the world felt lighter when I finally admitted I was breaking. This one realization saved me. I searched for normal and found only shattered pieces of myself. You're about to see the reality of it all. They told me to just be happy, as if happiness was a switch I could flip. What they don't tell you about happiness. The mirror showed a stranger, a ghost wearing my face. This is the hidden face of suffering. I learned that silence is a language, and my heart spoke volumes. You won't believe what silence can say. My anxiety was a monster in the dark, and I was its favorite toy, the secret they keep from you. They said time heals all wounds, but some wounds just fester. The truth about time you need to hear. I thought I was losing my mind, but I was just finding my soul. This will redefine your understanding. The words, "it's all in your head," became my personal hell, the lie they've been telling you. I wore a mask of strength, but underneath, I was crumbling, the hidden truth behind the facade. They told me to move on, but grief doesn't follow a timeline. The one thing they got wrong. My thoughts were a prison, and I was serving a life sentence. Escape is possible. Here's how. I tried to drown my sorrows, but they knew how to swim. What nobody tells you about dealing with pain. They said I was overreacting, but they never felt the fire inside me. You have to see this to understand. I learned that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage, the secret they hide from you. My heart was a broken record, playing the same sad song. This will change your perspective on heartbreak. They told me to just breathe, but my lungs felt like they were collapsing. The real struggle of breathing. I searched for answers in the dark and found only echoes of my pain, the horrifying truth revealed. They said, "You're too young to be depressed," but pain doesn't discriminate. What they don't want you to know about youth. I learned that tears aren't a sign of weakness, they're a sign of release. The power of tears you need to understand. My mind was a labyrinth, and I was lost in its depths. Prepare for a journey into the unknown. They told me to count my blessings, but all I could count were my scars, the harsh reality they ignore. I learned that healing isn't linear, it's a messy, beautiful chaos. The truth about healing they don't tell you. My heart was a garden, and I let the weeds of doubt choke it, the secret to reclaiming your inner peace. They said, "You're making it up," but the pain was as real as the air I breathed, the shocking truth about invisible pain. I learned that self-care isn't selfish, it's survival, the necessity they overlook. My soul was a broken mirror, reflecting a distorted image of myself, the power of self-reflection you need. They told me to get over it, but trauma doesn't have an expiration date. The one thing about trauma they get wrong. I learned that forgiveness isn't for them, it's for me, the liberating truth about forgiveness. My mind was a storm, and I was caught in its eye, the terrifying reality of mental turmoil. They said, "You're too dramatic," but they never saw the silent screams, the reality of internal suffering. I learned that acceptance isn't giving up, it's letting go, the essential key to peace. My heart was a locked room, and I lost the key, the struggle to find your way back. They told me to be strong, but sometimes strength is admitting you're weak, the truth about true strength. I learned that vulnerability isn't exposure, it's connection, the hidden power of connection. My mind was a movie, and I was stuck on replay, the horrifying truth about repetitive thoughts. They said, "You're just seeking attention," but I was screaming for help. The cry for help they ignored. I learned that self-love isn't vanity, it's necessity, the essential truth about self-love. My soul was a broken compass, lost without direction, the struggle to find your purpose. They told me to stop feeling sorry for yourself, but I was drowning in grief, the reality of overwhelming grief. I learned that boundaries aren't walls, they're respect, the power of healthy boundaries.